So you have big dreams, but you struggle to take action and progress towards that goal. Whether it's you being financially free, traveling the world, getting a better body shape, whatever it may be, you can definitely picture it in your head, but you can't really urge yourself to start, or you may even think that the goal is unachievable or too far for you to achieve. Well, luckily today I have 5 proven ways on how you can stop dreaming and start doing things, and I'll be providing 5 examples as well from 5 successful people who also follow these methods, just so you know that they're effective and they have been proven successful by all these successful people. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to set a clear goal. Now, what does this mean, right? Like, for example, you say you want to be fit. That's not very clear because that's somewhat ambiguous, right? Like, what does fit even mean? You want to put a number so you can actually track your progress. For example, you want to say, okay, I want to cut down 20 pounds by the end of the month. Now you can actually see how much progression you're making towards the goal and be like, okay, I'm 50% there, I'm 60% there, right? And this gives you more motivation rather than setting an ambiguous and unclear goal. Take, for example, Mark Zuckerberg. He had a clear vision in his mind that he wanted to create a social networking site to connect people around the globe. He started small and he built Facebook from his college dorm to connect people in his university, which then later on expanded to the whole world and now has more than 2.8 billion users worldwide. So again, be sure you have a clear vision and you know what you want to do, and you want to make sure that you're not too ambiguous or you're not staying off track. Now, number 2 is to take the first step. Sometimes a lot of people actually don't want to do this and they're like, okay, let me just wait until I have everything figured out, right? You just want to start taking action, take the plunge. Don't be waiting for stuff because, you know, the longer you wait and you set it back, like, I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'm going to do it next month. When are you going to do it? The next life, right? You have this one life. You want to do it now. When I learned how to swim, first of all, I did not learn how to swim like progressively, right? Literally the first thing I did was that I jumped into the deep end. Okay, I had to make sure everybody was there to watch me, right? I don't want to drown on my own, but I jumped into the 8 feet side of the pool, not knowing how to swim. And then, you know, obviously I didn't learn how to swim magically, right? Then I held onto the railing. The hardest part wasn't to find the railing, it was to find the courage to jump into the deep side of the pool. Sometimes you don't even have everything figured out yet. But the most important thing is that you take the initial risk to get that started. Then maybe you can get the ball rolling from there. Now take, for example, Elon Musk. He wanted to reduce carbon emissions in the world, obviously, but he didn't really have a whole plan figured out, right? He knew that, okay, a source of carbon emission is a good amount of it from gasoline cars. He took the first step and obviously worked on Tesla and, you know, growing into the industry that it is today, when obviously back then all he had was just a vision and he didn't have a full game plan yet, right? Now there's a lot more electric cars on the road and it's clearly working for him on his goal of reducing carbon emission, which wouldn't have happened if he didn't take the first step. Maybe you want to be fit, but you don't know how to. Well, just take the first step. Maybe the first step might be going to a gym. Maybe the first step is replacing burgers with a salad. Just take the small step and just go for it, I would say. Step number 3 is to embrace your failures. Failure is inevitable. You will do things and you will fail. You're not always going to succeed 100% of the time, right? Unless you're just that lucky of a person. I know for sure I wasn't always making the best decisions back then, but then guess what? I have to learn from them. Now, another example I want to say here is Thomas Edison, who also invented the light bulb. You know what he said when he failed? He said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that it won't work. And this is very true, right? If you failed, at least you learned and said, okay, well, it's a lesson in the end and I have not wasted my time because now I know not to do that again. Thomas Edison embraced failure as a part of his invention process. And finally, his persistence finally paid off after he invented that light bulb. I know light bulbs have evolved now to LEDs and such, but you know, we still have to credit him for the original idea of the light bulb, which has grown to what we have today in our households. Step number 4 is to surround yourself with positive influence. You need to find people who inspire you, motivate you, and most importantly, you need to make them as a part of your support system. You never want to hang out with people who, you know, you bounce off ideas and they're like, hey, you know, that's not going to work and that's going to fail. But they don't reason with you why it's going to fail. They just do it because maybe they just don't like you as a person. Now we're going to take, for example, Warren Buffett, right? One of the most successful investors in history. He actually has a close-knit group of people who give him advice and who he relies on as a support system. Warren Buffett also gathers ideas from attending conferences as well, which, as you know, is a gathering of all the people who, you know, are into that one thing, like investing, whether it be real estate, whatever it may be. Just surround yourself with those people who could bounce off ideas and who will support you in the end. And last but not least, step number 5 is to stay motivated. Now, what does this mean, right? Like, you're telling me this whole time to stay motivated, but how do I do it? Because I know that it is easy to get very discouraged along the way, okay? Like, I know many times that I've been discouraged, you know, even make videos sometimes where I just feel lazy and unmotivated, but you need to find ways to actually stay motivated. Whether it's through affirmations, whether it's through you journaling every single day and watching your progression, watching your growth, you need to remind yourself on why you started in the first place. One way I do it for this exact YouTube channel is sometimes I will take screenshots throughout the week of just my current channel page, and watching my channel grows really motivates me, and it really pushes me to create new videos, even though sometimes I don't get the most amount of views. It doesn't matter the view count, because I know that as soon as I depend on it, it will make me unmotivated when I notice that it's not doing the same. And taking another example here can be Serena Williams, which is unarguably one of the best tennis players out there, and she stays motivated and focused on her goals by actually staying positive. She always says that she visualizes herself winning tournaments, and she uses positive self-talk to stay confident in her matches. And going back to number 4 as well, she also surrounds herself with good coaches, good family members, and a strong support system to get to where she is at today. Now, with all these 5 steps in mind, what can you do today within your control to start taking action towards your dreams? Whether you have to make a phone call, whether you have to send an email, whether you have to go door-to-door knocking for business, you just gotta do it. I mean, you gotta stop dreaming and start doing. It's been my motive, and it still is my motive that I go by to this day, to just, do it. The perfect moment is now, because if you don't start today, later on in the year, you're gonna look back to this day and be like, wow, I regret not starting a year earlier. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll see y'all in the next video.